Hello and welcome, I'm Nikita Kapoor and you're watching the Daily Jagran. In this special segment, I will take you through some of the top stories making headlines today. Let's begin. India takes a bold stand on the global stage. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has backed Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's decision to walk away from a joint statement at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the SCO meet in China. And why? Because the statement did not even mention terrorism. That's right. In a summit, one country reportedly wanted to keep the T word out. We all know who that one country is, and Jaishankar didn't even have to name it. The External Affairs Minister, in no uncertain terms, called out the hypocrisy, saying it is ironic that an organization like the SCO itself, built to counter terrorism, was being silenced on the very issue it was created to fight. He did not even name Pakistan. Well, he didn't need to. Now remember, this comes just 24 hours after Defence Minister Rajnath Singh refused to sign the SCO's joint statement in China. Why? Because the document made no mention of terrorism, no mention of April 22 Pahalgam terror attack that left 26 people dead. India demanded that this brutal attack carried out by Pakistan-backed terror groups be acknowledged by the global community, but instead the silence was deafening. And so India said no. No to whitewashed diplomacy, no to hollow statements, and no to sitting at the table if terror can't even be named. Listen in to External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's statement.
See, let me give you some context because I think it's important. This Shanghai Cooperation Organization, its objective was to fight terrorism. Okay, so this organization exists to fight terrorism. So what happened was, when Rajnath ji went for a defense ministers meeting and there was a discussion on the outcome document, one country, you can guess which one country said that no, we do not want a reference to that. Now Rajnath ji's view rightly was that without that reference, when the main purpose of that organization is to fight terrorism and you are not allowing a reference to that, I am not prepared to accept it. So I think it is very understandable. And again, look, our point of view to terrorism, because one country, you see, SCO runs by unanimity. तो सर्वसहमति से SCO चलता है. तो एक देश ने जो है, उन्होंने कहा कि हम नहीं मानेंगे कि आतंकवाद का कहीं जिक्र होना चाहिए, और राजनाथ जी ने कहा कि अगर आतंकवाद का कोई इसमें जिक्र नहीं है तो हम लोग जो है वो स्टेटमेंट नहीं मानेंगे.
There is a fresh development between India and China. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has proposed what's being seen as a permanent solution to the lingering border standoff with China. A carefully worded but firm 4-point plan was presented to his Chinese counterpart, Admiral Dong Jun, on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's defence ministers meet. Let's break it down for you. What exactly is India proposing here? According to official sources, the 4-point approach seeks strict adherence to the 2024 disengagement plan. This plan is already on paper, but the emphasis is on full implementation. Continued efforts toward de-escalation, troop build-ups, face-offs and mistrust, all of it, India says, must be gradually rolled back. Speeding up the delimitation of borders, very important, a long pending process that has remained stuck in technicalities in politics for years now. Activating the special representative level mechanism, an existing diplomatic channel that could help manage future flare-ups and stabilize the relationship between India and China. This meeting comes at a time when, despite multiple rounds of military and diplomatic talks since the deadly Galwan clash in 2020, large-scale disengagement on key flashpoints like Depsang Plains and Demchok remains elusive. Sources say this was one of India's clearest articulations in recent years of how India envisions a roadmap to not just calm tempers on the line of control, but also build a sustainable diplomatic framework with China. But that's not all. Rajnath Singh also made it a point to raise a topic that India doesn't want China to ignore, especially cross-border terrorism. and especially Pakistan's role in fueling it. In essence, the message was twofold: that India is open to dialogue and peace with China, but will remain uncompromising when it comes to national security. The Chinese side, meanwhile, issued its own readout saying India is not seeking confrontation and wants to enhance communication and mutual trust. However, as of now, there is no official Indian statement about what exactly was said behind closed doors. So what does this 4-point proposal really signify? For starters, it signals that India is not just reacting to border incidents, it is proactively trying to chart a strategic exit from the cycle of tension. But here's the reality check. Despite over 20 rounds of commander-level talks and multiple high-level diplomatic engagements, trust remains fragile. China's infrastructure push near the LAC continues and Indian forces remain on high alert in eastern Ladakh. To summarize, India wants peace, but not at cost of sovereignty. It wants dialogue, but on its own terms. And through this 4-point formula, the message is clear. The solution to standoff must be permanent, not periodic. A story from Bangladesh has sparked anguish, outrage and concern again. A makeshift Durga temple standing as a spiritual and cultural symbol for the minority Hindu community in Bangladesh's capital Dhaka was razed to ground by authorities. The demolition, reportedly carried out under the pretext of removing illegal encroachments on railway land, has triggered widespread protest and strong diplomatic reactions, particularly from India, which has condemned the move and accused extremist elements of pushing for this act of destruction. Let's take you through what really happened. The Khilkhed Durga temple stood in Dhaka, makeshift, modest but significant for the local Hindu population. On Thursday morning, bulldozers rolled in. The demolition was led by personnel from army camp, acting on an order issued by the Deputy Commissioner and Divisional Estate Officer of Bangladesh Railways. Large numbers of police and security personnel were deployed at the site. Hindu men and women, some with tears in their eyes, others with folded hands, sat in protest, forming a human chain around the temple. But their resistance was no match for the show of force. The crowd was forcibly removed, and moments later, the temple reduced to rubble. Authorities say the temple stood on railway land and was removed as part of an anti-encroachment drive. But for Bangladesh's Hindu minority community and millions more watching from afar, this wasn't just about land, this was about identity, faith and rising intolerance in Bangladesh. Over the past few years, after Sheikh Hasina's ouster especially, there have been multiple instances of attacks on temples, desecration of idols and atrocities on minorities. India has also now entered the frame. Like always, Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said, and I quote, "This is not just about an encroachment. The interim Bangladeshi government under Muhammad Yunus has downplayed the incident as illegal land use, but it's clear that extremist pressure was at play here." Jaiswal added that such incident tarnished the secular fabric of Bangladesh and urged Dhaka to ensure the safety and dignity of its minorities. It is important to note that Bangladesh, under its founding principle, was envisioned as a secular nation. But over the decades, the rise of hardline Islamist group and coupled with political instability has made minorities, especially Hindus, increasingly vulnerable. Temples have been attacked, idols discredited, homes looted during festivals, and time and again, Hindus, Buddhists, Christians have had to protest, flee, or remain silent. India is watching, the world is watching, and this incident has reignited a larger painful question: how safe are minorities in Bangladesh? Once again, a campus meant to nurture the future of our country has become the site of one of the most horrific crimes imaginable. This time, it's a law college in the heart of South Kolkata, and once again, a young woman's trust, her safety, her dignity shattered inside a space that was supposed to protect her. A 24-year-old young law student walked into her college campus at noon, likely thinking only about her upcoming exams. She went there to fill out some forms. What happened next has left not just Kolkata, whole India shaken. According to her complaint, the student waited inside the college union room, familiar surroundings, familiar faces. But those very faces, two students and a former one, would soon turn into her worst nightmare. The victim alleges that one of the accused ordered the college gate to be locked. The men then allegedly forced her into the college's security guard room. Yes, you heard that right, security guard room, the very place on campus meant to offer protection. That's where the gang rape reportedly happened. The main accused, Manojit Mishra, is no ordinary ex-student. He's the General Secretary of the South Kolkata district of the Trinamool Congress Chhatra Parishad, the student wing of TMC, a 31-year-old political figure. The other two accused, just 19-year-old Zaib Ahmed, a first-year law student, and a 20-year-old Pramit Mukherjee, another student from the same college. Police swung into action. Manojit Mishra, Zaib Ahmed were picked up from a busy crossing in the Kasbah area. Their mobile phones were seized. Pramit Mukherjee was arrested from his residence later that night. All three were produced in court and sent to 5 days of police custody. But the question is, how did this even happen? How a college campus is turning into a crime scene. Only 6 months ago, Kolkata was burning with anger over a similar case inside Medical College, RG Medical College. Protesters had taken to streets demanding justice, demanding action. The National Commission for Women has taken suo motu cognizance of the case. The chairperson has called the incident shocking, demanding an immediate, thorough investigation into the matter. The college premises have been sealed for forensic examination. The victim's medical exam is complete. Witnesses are being questioned. But as the investigation gathers pace, so does public anger. A chilling act of personal rage took a catastrophic turn in South Korea when a 67-year-old man set a moving subway train on fire, risking hundreds of lives in what investigators now describe as a deliberate and dangerous act of protest over his divorce. The incident occurred during the peak morning rush hour. The man allegedly poured gasoline inside a subway cabin on Seoul's subway line 5 and then, in a horrifying move, set his own clothes on fire, triggering panic, smoke and chaos inside an undersea tunnel. The visuals on your screen show the moment the fire broke out just before 8:45 a.m. as the train was crossing beneath the Han River, leaving passengers with no easy escape route, which means this was planned. For over 150 commuters, that morning ride turned into a nightmare. In the CCTV, the elderly man can be seen calmly walking into the cabin, dousing the area with flammable liquid and igniting it without any hesitation. Right there on your screen, the flames spread rapidly, filling the compartment with smoke and panic. Officials confirmed that 22 people were hospitalized, most suffering from smoke inhalation. Another 129 commuters were treated on site for minor injuries, including trauma and shock. One passenger reportedly sprained an ankle while trying to flee the burning cabin. Emergency teams rushed to the tunnel, quickly dousing the flames and evacuating passengers. Fortunately, no fatalities were reported, but the damage, both psychological and material, was immense. The fire caused severe destruction to the train cabin, with total damages estimated at over 330 million won. That's close to $240,000 US. Subway operations on Line 5 were temporarily suspended, causing delays across one of Seoul's busiest lines. As the city reels from the shock, questions are now being raised about security loopholes in South Korea's rail network. How did someone even manage to bring flammable substance on board a subway train, that too undetected? Could this attack have been prevented? The man was taken into custody following a hospital stay due to injuries sustained during the fire. He now faces multiple serious charges: attempted murder, arson of a moving train, and violations under the Railway Safety Act. This is all I have for you in this special segment. For more news and updates, follow the Daily Jagran. You can also log on to thedailyjagran.com. Thanks for tuning in. This is Nikita Kapoor signing off.